I'm half 100 years old. That's 50 for those keeping score at home and are mathematically challenged. But I've got a few things figured out. One of those things is how to deal with job loss. Heck, I watch the news. I watch YouTube. I see this stuff going on, and it's bad economic times. And what's the first thing to go in a bad economic time? You, the employee. Because that's probably some of the biggest costs of running a business is employees. What better way to save money than getting them the heck out of here? Now, reasons vary. Maybe the boss was an idiot. Chances are that's true. He let you go and he let the wrong person go, and you're the one that did all the work and didn't take any of the credit for it. That was your mistake. Maybe it's just tough economic times in the country, and the company's, looking at survival, and they've just got to cut some people. And hey, tough times call for tough measures, and you got to go. Maybe you quit your job. It was just so horrible, and it's making your life so horrible that you had to get out of there. I understand. The fact remains, you're currently unemployed. Here's what to do now. Rule number 1, and this kind of ties in with rule number 3, but rule number 1, no weekdays off. Now, this kind of depends. Let's say you got let go, the company's downsizing. Then it was on a Monday, as some companies like to do. The ones that are kind of, you don't want to work for anybody. Anyway, but let's just say it was a Monday. Take 2 days. Take 2 days and just whatever you got to do. Zone it out or focus in or replay in your mind, was any of that my fault? What could I have done differently? You want to kind of limit those because it's not going to change your current situation. You need a job. Take 2 days, get you to Wednesday. And now we're getting to work. And by no weekdays off, I mean none. Monday through Friday, you make work your full-time job. You're going to find, sooner or later, you're going to find yourself without a job. I can assure you of that. Whether that's the wrongdoing of the company, they don't know what they're talking about, this or that, or I had to leave because it was so horrible there, whatever the case, you're going to be without a job. Make work your full-time job. You're hitting it. You're hitting it, you're hitting it, you're hitting it. Weekends? Take the weekend. Take some time off. I mean, you got time off because you're unemployed, but take them 2 days just as you would. Stay in that groove, but make finding work your full-time job. Number 2, you're currently unemployed. What that means, generally speaking, is you have no income. And this is important because you kind of need that to live. Stop the hemorrhaging. Shut off all non-essential expenditures. And by essential, I mean food and housing. Anything that might tie in with that. The electric bill, kind of important. Although, you might be able to get away. Don't just let them shut it off. That'll just cost you more money and hurt your relationship with them in the long run. You might call them and have them shut it off. You're going to need water, food, and housing. And even housing, if you're in a fancy place because you had a high-paying job and you don't have that high-paying job, get out of the fancy place. Now, moving costs money, but if you're looking at the $4,000 a month versus $900 a month, I'd recommend doing that and doing it immediately. No more spending because you don't have any more income currently. This is just a temporary problem. Let's not make it worse. I'm talking about the occasional, I'm going to treat myself. I went to 3 job interviews this week and I'm getting a Starbucks. No, you're not, because you don't have any income currently. No more eating out. If there's apps on your phone that cost money, I don't care, it's $2 a month. Shut it off. Get out of it. If there's some kind of way that if you got a reoccurring bill, I don't know, a student loan debt, make the calls and see if there's a way that we can forestall that. Just temporary. Hold on to everything you got right now because it's the only thing you have until you get that first paycheck of your new job. Not until you get the job, until you get that first paycheck, minimum. So no more spending, none. Number 3. And this, like I said, kind of tied into that first one. Looking for work your job. And if that means the neighbor's looking for somebody, you hear him talking because you're both sitting on the mailbox, just gabbing, yeah, I'm out of work. And then later in the conversation, the guy says, I've been looking for somebody to mow my yard. I'll mow it. Because some income, it turns out, is better than none. It's just for now. Maybe later you get a job, and then you go tell the neighbor, I'm pretty busy, and you're going to have to find you a yard mowing guy. But for now, what do you got? You need me to clean out your gutters while I'm mowing the yard? Not just the one guy. Put it up. Maybe it turns into a lawn care business. You don't know. Something is better than nothing, generally speaking. Put the word out in certain circles that you're looking for work. Reason why doesn't matter why, because you need work. That's why. I'm looking for work. If you hear anything, let me know. Because the bigger your circle, more chances this oddball thing's coming in. And a man never knows, or a woman. Number 4, you want to stay busy. Don't start playing the video games, because then pretty soon you're staying up late. And what that generally means is that you're sleeping in the morning. At base level, when you do find a job, this new lifestyle of being unemployed that you have kind of fallen into, staying up late, getting up late, you eating crappy, kind of letting yourself go, kind of letting things go. When you start that new job, it's going to be that much harder for your system to adjust, for your sleep schedule to adjust, for your body to adjust to waking up with an alarm clock again. All this stuff, you're sabotaging yourself and you're hurting yourself. And another big part of this is the depression that can accompany a job loss. Keep your mind busy. Keep it working, as long as it doesn't cost you any money. I would recommend not paying like job search companies to help you find if it costs money. No, we're not spending any money. And additionally, does the job search company want you to find a job? No, because then you're not a paying customer anymore. So how good is that going to work? I'd rule that out. Everything else, keep your mind sharp. If that means, I've been needing to clean the bird bath out, then clean it out. Scrub and detail that thing. Because what you'll find, what I have found in the times of my life where I've been without work, you start getting into that groove and you start going. And what do we got today? I usually make this the day before. What do we got? I've needed to restack that wood pile since the end of last winter. I just haven't had time to do it because I've been working previously, but I'm not now. So I'm restacking that wood pile. I'm sorting out my junk that I've accumulated because I was too busy working and let it go, and I'm getting it cleaned up. What I found out is when I finally got that new job, I'm kind of a little bit sad to start it because I've gotten into this groove and I'm getting a lot of stuff done, man. Stuff that I should have started earlier. Neither here nor there. Keep it going. Keep the schedule going. Get to bed at a decent hour and set the alarm clock and get up at 7 o'clock just because it keeps the mind sharp. And when you got something going on, your mind doesn't have time to start playing tricks on you about, I shouldn't have been fired, and this is a bunch of crap, and I got screwed over, and the company's screwed. Doesn't matter. All that whining and crying isn't going to change a single thing about your current situation. So keep your mind busy and keep your body busy. And then when you do start the new job, the shock of that isn't going to be so severe. I've been getting up at 7. I have to get up now till 7:30. Piece of cake. Number 5 on my list, I already said it in the last one, maintain a sleep schedule. I don't have one, which is just horrible. But for most people, set an hour and get to bed about that hour every night and set the alarm clock and get up. Like I said, the shock is just that much less. Number 6 on our list, you do not have a gap in your employment history. There's no gaps on your resume. None. And if there are, no, there's not. And I'm going to tell you why. Because prospective employers can look at that and say, well, this guy's been out of work for 8 months. Maybe we don't want to touch this guy with a 10-foot pole. Who's out of work for 8 months? Who's been out of work for 4 months? This guy's been out of work for a year and a half, and you don't have any gaps on your schedule, on your employment history. You've been winging it. You've been an entrepreneur. You decided that you always wanted to pursue that photography business. Even if you didn't, you did. Because they can't check that. No gaps. You don't have an employment history gap. You don't have any. But especially most recently, since your last job, that you may not even want to list, unless it's crucial to your what's the word I'm looking for? Experience, history. There's no gaps. You started a lawn care business and thought you could make a go of it, and that's what you've been doing these last 7 months. And it turns out, you can't make it through the winter on that, or, people are slow to pay, or whatever happened. And so I think it's time for me to, maybe explore some other opportunities here. And I saw your ad on, I hate to say it, Indeed. What's that other one? LinkedIn, the circle jerker of the corporate world. But the avenues are the avenues, and the fact of the matter is you need income, you need a job. So that's what we're hitting. And while I don't think I got it on my list, but while we're at it, a great time to look at LinkedIn. Not that you're going to do this, because you're going to be maintaining a good sleep schedule. But for a guy like me, middle of the night. I don't know why that is, but things pop up in the middle of the night. I guess so they're there first thing in the morning. And people that are unemployed jump on at 8:30 after they've had their coffee and bagel. For some reason, middle of the night, things pop up. And if you're the first one, and that, man, this gal looks like a great candidate, potentially. Number 7. Feeling devalued. Now, the mind will play tricky things on you sometimes if you've lost a job, especially if you've lost it wrongly. Speaking of tricky things, the mind looks at the job all wrong, as at least in modern America it does. People connect their self-worth to their jobs, and that is wrong. That is so wrong. And the reason why is, just ask anybody you know that has a job and ask them, you think you're paid fairly for your employment? Almost all of them would say no. No. I see the money that they're making. They're making money hand over fist, and they're paying me XYZ chump change, I need at least $10 an hour, at least 15 grand a year more to even consider the fact that, okay, well then your self-worth shouldn't be tied to your job. Clearly, the investment of self isn't tied up into your job, or they'd pay you adequately, and they don't. And if that's your contention, then stop trying to tie your self-worth into your job. It's just something you can do so you can keep the lights on and buy groceries. That's it. It's nothing more. It's not a place to make friends. We don't need to hang out after hours. We don't need to do anything but what the company pays us to do. That's all. Nothing more. It's not your self-worth. It's not, job loss is not the be-all, end-all of everything. It shouldn't be. And if you're thinking that way, you should stop. Number 8, no new bills. And I already said this before, kind of. I said, stop all payments going out. Don't be taking on any new bills at all. I don't care. I don't care if they're selling radial tires down at the doobly-doo and they're $25 and they're brand new. I don't care. No new bills, especially not reoccurring bills, but in general, no expenses. Food and shelter. Maybe that sale will come back. Maybe, I'm going to miss out. Probably not. And if you are, it's because you're currently unemployed. Don't worry about it. You got bigger fish to fry right now, i.e. getting a job. No new expenses. Number 9, take anything. And this is good and bad advice. The good is, like I said, mow the neighbor's yard. Take anything. Take a part-time gig for now. Now, I'd recommend against, and I've seen these young people doing this. They get a part-time job and they still can't find a full-time job. So then they get a second part-time job. But we can't live on that. So then they got 3 parts. pretty soon you're going to have so many part-time jobs, you're not going to have time to look for a full-time job. Or you'd be so exhausted. Same. It's just for now. It's just to get you through the gap. But you're not too good for anything. Well, I used to make $186,000 a year. Yeah, but you don't now. You're not too good for anything. And there is no shame in my mind about working for McDonald's, working for Walmart, working for Amazon. There's nothing wrong with that. It's just for now. Just don't get sucked into it. Don't get comfortable with it. But take anything. Anything you got. What do you got? You need a courier to run old people's medication to them? Or now young people's? I can do that. Okay. There's no shame in that. It's just for now. It's just getting you through. And maybe the only thing that's going to buy is food, but hey, turns out that's kind of important. You're not too good for anything for now. Number 10. It's the last thing I have on my list. Maintain the scarcity mindset. Chances are, if you're in a really tight pinch because you're currently unemployed and it was unexpected, number one, it shouldn't have been unexpected. Sooner or later, you're going to lose your current job. Everybody is. Whether it's because of age and you're retiring, whether it's because you got let go, or whether it's because you left for a better opportunity, doesn't matter. That job is gone. The problem is people get comfortable. You've heard of lifestyle creep, and pretty soon I'm making pretty good money. We can get a new car on payments. This app, this thing is like, that's $3 a month or something. What are you doing that for? And if you're already low income, that's probably what helped, in a sense, get you this, I lost my job. Crap. What do I do now? Well, it's that lifestyle creep. So, point being, you need to maintain this scarcity after you find your new job. And you will, you find something. Doesn't God look after the birds of the air? That's a biblical thing, man. He's going to look after you. And yeah, the times have changed. Oh, God never worked in the corporate world. No, he's too good for that. But if he did, see what I'm saying here? Maintain that scarcity. How long? Minimum 4 months. Minimum. Because at 3 months, they can still let you. It's a probationary period. Maybe you don't want to work there after 3 months. Maybe they don't want you working there after 3 months. And that's the cutoff there. There's no unemployment after 3 months. They just let you go. Which is another interesting thing, and isn't it interesting? A company wants you to give 2-week notice. So they can prepare and get ready and maybe start interviewing candidates, or, maybe they let you know a month in advance. So this is Rhonda. We want her cross-trained in all the different departments, and yours was the first one that came. You're probably training your replacement. But point being, they want that notice. It's a courtesy. They don't give you a notice. When you're gone, you're out the door, Jack, and don't you come back no more. I'm just saying. Overarching point of this, you're going to lose a job at some point. It's not the end of the world. And the longer you stay in that headspace of, oh, poor me, this is so wrong, I can't believe I got screwed up, that's not doing you any good. And it's just driving you down. Then you are tying it to your self-worth. You're going to lose a job. We've been in a depression. Get this, since 2003, no, I'm not misspeaking. It's been a depressed market, artificially inflated. Since 2003, that's a depression. At minimum, it's a recession. Point being, you're going to lose a job, and you're going to live through it. It'd be all right. But hope is not a strategy. Wishing is not a strategy. Make the full-time job getting a full-time job. Get to work and pound the pavement. Used to be you actually pounded the pavement. Now you get on the keyboard with the jazz hands. and keep looking. And if you've searched hard you're running out of funds, takes money to keep you alive, you're draining your own accounts, if you have any. A lot of people didn't even start with anything. So a job loss really hits them hard. That's what rule number 10, advice tip number 10, maintain the scarcity mindset. Just adjust your percentages. Say you've been working there a year and a half. Okay, well, now I'm going to maintain, I don't know, it depends on how much money you make, 40%. I'm putting that back as if I'm going to lose my job tomorrow, because in this economic market, it just might. You'll be all right. There's no gaps in your employment history. Go through and watch it again. Trust me on this one. I know what I'm talking about. Thank you for watching. I appreciate your time. You put your comments in the comment section if you like. And I'll see you next time.